What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Textbook Junkie here with the review on the new iPod, and we're going to kind of compare it with the iPhone 5. So let's go ahead and get started here. First of all, we're going to look at the screen. You see the new iPod and the iPhone are coming in at 326 ppi, pixels per inch. That's basically Apple is basically calling this high of resolution Retina. And so let's go ahead and take a quick look at some video of both of these and kind of comparing the two. And what we're going to kind of see, what I saw, is that Apple has really closed the gap as far as the quality of camera, the quality of the screen, just everything. It used to be to where the phone had a lot better internals, a lot better hardware being used, but now, besides really looking on paper, it's really hard to distinguish the difference. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at the video, and then we'll get on with the review here. And this video is of the Avengers. So let's see here. And if you look at them, it's really hard to tell them apart, honestly. So that was a quick look at and kind of comparing the screen quality, the picture quality that's produced with this 326 ppi Retina display. Very, very nice. It's really the only way to describe it. What we're also going to see here, just talk about the dimensions a little bit. The iPhone 5 is coming in at 0.3 inches thick, while the new iPod is coming in at 0.24 inches thick. And you can just kind of see the difference here. And also dealing with the weight, you hold the iPod Touch, and it really, the iPhone 5 is light, but the iPod Touch is even lighter. We're talking about 3.1 ounces is what the iPod Touch is, and the iPod 5 is 3.95 ounces. So doesn't really seem like much, but when you're getting down that low, they're really getting close to paper thin. Okay, and then let's go ahead and just take a look at a couple photos, and as we can see, the difference is even less. Now let's move on to the options that are available in these different models, and the phone versus the Touch. The options as far as colors, the iPod comes in 5 colors. Apple is currently running a red edition to support AIDS in Africa, so 6 colors, but the iPhone is only coming in 2 colors, and those colors are the black with a little bit of gray and the white with a little bit of silver, and that's the one this is. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the hardware that's put inside both of these devices. Now, the iPhone 5 is running Apple's new custom A6 processor. They're kind of trying to get away from Samsung, and in doing so, they are spending a little bit of money and starting to develop their own chips. And man, it's pretty impressive. The iPod Touch, I thought it was running A5, and that may be what it is, but it's not really what Geekbench is coming up with. So let's just run a quick Geekbench test and see what the difference is between these two. Okay, kind of line this up here a little bit. All right, and the iPod is calling it an ARM v7, and it says that it's running at 800 megahertz, while the iPhone 5 is calling it the A6 processor running at 1.29 gigahertz. Double the memory at about 1 gig, and the iPod Touch is about half that, about 500 megabytes. So let's go ahead and click these at the same time and see what happens. iPhone 5 was a little bit behind, as you saw, messed up on my touch, but I don't think that really matters. They both kind of hang up there a little bit. But then that 1 gigahertz of RAM and A6 processor kick in, and kind of wonder what the iPod's doing. Here it comes. Maybe. Any day now, iPod. There we go. Okay, so we look at these scores, and we're pretty close to almost 3 times. 1649 for the iPhone 5 and 626 for the iPod Touch. Again, we're looking at double the RAM, and we're looking at the A6, custom processor from Apple. So, who knows what the future holds, but it's really looking bright. And once they put that into here and then probably bump that up to the A7, it's going to be even better all around. Okay, so now let's go ahead and just take a quick look at a new addition to the iPod line, and that is Siri. The iPhone 5 has Siri, and the iPhone had Siri in the 4S, and they just added it to the iPod Touch line. So it's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and just test it out. Try to do them both at the same time. Hopefully I won't mess up too bad this time. Give me stats for LeBron James.
Here's LeBron James.
So you see they both work pretty flawlessly. If you just take a look at those pictures, I mean, the colors are just so close. I mean, whereas, back in the day, it was a big difference in the color and the picture quality from the camera and the sound. And we're just seeing that gap being narrowed more and more, as time goes on. So, okay. Next thing I want to just look at real quick is a sound that's produced from the speakers. Now, Apple gives you these EarPods that are pretty decent in my opinion. We'll get to those a little bit later. But just a sound that comes out of the speakers themselves. Let me make sure I have both of these turned up all the way. And we're gonna go with the iPod Touch first. And let's rewind these back. Okay. The iPod Touch. And now the iPhone 5.
It's been a long. They said I only got 15 seconds.
Quite a bit of difference, but again, speaker. Maybe the speaker's a little bit bigger, not sure, but being the thinness of the iPod Touch, I can see that being the case, and that's probably why it's just able to produce more sound. Okay. So, moving right along here, let's just talk about the battery life. The battery life in the iPod Touch is rated at 40 hours for music and 8 hours for video playback. And for the iPhone 5 is also rated at 40 hours for audio and 10 hours for video playback. I would probably go ahead and knock an hour off of both of those, just being real world. They seem to be a little friendly with their stats, but real world, probably knock an hour off of those, and you'd probably be more accurate. And lastly, I'm going to just go ahead and talk about the accessories. Both of them come with the new Lightning adapter cable. It's a thinner cable that that Apple has used to make these devices thinner. It's really thin, and it's pretty neat because you can put it in either way, upside down, right side up, whatever you want to call it. Whereas the other one, the other model, the bigger cable had to go in one way, and if it was nighttime, it was kind of not the easiest thing to figure out. And then we have the earpods. These are the headphones that Apple says compares to $100 headphones. Well, I'm not going to go that far, but if you put them up to probably $50 in-ear headphones, they really do hold their ground. They really are good sounding, and I was pretty impressed. So with all that being said, guys, I appreciate your time. God bless and take care. And one quick word from my sponsor.